Yeah, so are we just breaking them out into the categories, kind of like just going through
Yeah,
the
so I
guys?
have I'll show it to you. I have a fun little thing to do. Share Zoom windows. Um,
Zoomy doom doom boom.
so basically,
Whoa, tight. No way.
yeah.
Sweet.
I took a lease out on your heart. I took a lease out on your heart. Can I lease that bar? Can I lease that bar? Can I lease that bar?
Welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we're on a quest for Dynasty Domination. How's it going over there, Daniel?
Really good, you know, summer, really good.
Yeah.
Reading articles, hearing about where the depth charts are hitting, hearing about the heroes of the undrafted world,
Yeah.
shakeups, and I think it's fun, man. This is the ultimate makeup fake news NFL time of
Hmm.
the year,
Yep.
and I'm here for it, man. I picked up Jalen Hyatt, in a league. I did it,
We're doing
I'm
it.
ready to. I'm ready. I'm ready to trust Russell Wilson again.
Oh, good Lord. Well, enjoy that ride.
Yeah. How are
But
you doing,
no,
Christian?
I'm doing good. Those of you that follow probably know that Bonnaroo got canceled. That went around, and so that was an interesting time. Kind of wish I hadn't canceled the show to go do it now, but we're here, we're doing it, and just like you, man, just trying to eat up all this news and determine what is worth anything and what is going to get me way hyped, way more hyped than I should be. But on that note, we're back and we are going to hit you with what we're good at, or what we maybe not good at, but what we do on the reg. And that is we're getting into the rookie talk. So the 2025 rookies, we're going to do something that we have never done. Every year I do a ring around a rookie, where I tier the current rookie players, so the 2025 rookies, based on their production and based on their usage, and we go in S to F tier and just see how we feel about these guys moving forward. Well, this year we're going to do a pre-season ranking to start and see where we think these guys will end up and where we want to start them on this list. So, going to be a bit experimental here, but I'm excited about it, man. I think this will be a lot of fun, and we're just going to kind of spitball this conversation and see where we want to end up putting these guys. You ready for it?
I'm ready, dude. I mean, this is for me, it's going to be fun because we have not pre-coordinated. So
Yeah,
there could be some cat fights, could
yeah.
be a little bit of chit chat about it. So this will
We'll
be a
see.
good, and I'm pumped. Like we're about to start doing divisions. And so this would be a great thing to kind of call back to and
Hmm.
just keep it fresh, man, because this is a good way to think about things,
Yeah.
especially when you get ready for redraft. Like guys you can trust as starters this year. It's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. This will really help, and I think it's a good foot in the door for the 2025 season, especially now that camps are all wrapping up and everything. So, without further ado, let's just crack into it. So here we go. I'm gonna share this screen, and so everyone can kind of see what we're working with, what we're doing here. So
Yeah.
we've got our tier list all broken out. And all of our 2025 rookies. Now, quick caveat, we only did guys that were taken in the fifth round or earlier. So anybody in the sixth round, seventh round, or undrafted, we're leaving out for now. That doesn't mean that they can't end up on this tier bracket, but it would have been like 70 something guys. And that just seems like a lot for Friday in June. So we're going to start with these 51 guys and kind of crack into it. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So we're going to start
Ooh.
with Seattle tight end Elijah Arroyo. Was taken in the second round of the NFL draft. Lots of camp hype around him. Talking about how they're going to use him all over the field, kind of as like a hybrid tight end role. Obviously, we don't really know what's going on with the QB. Is Sam Darnold going to be the guy, or is he going to kind of regress to where he was? and it's a brand new offense with Clint Kubiak. That being said, even though Arroyo is coming off that injury, I've got him sitting at a low A to high B in the tier. So a starter or in the promising category here. How are you feeling?
For him, I was a big fan of this guy, and I put him in promising,
Okay.
um, personally. And so we can have our first dispute if you'd like.
No, I think that makes sense. I mean, I think by the end of the year, he could end up being a starter for you. I think he's going to take that job away from Noah Fan as long as he's healthy. It's really more about like consistency given the Seattle's new look offense and the quarterback they have there. And then if they end up going to Jalen Milrow at some point. And then obviously tight end is kind of like a tough place for a lot of rookies to get started. So I like promising here. I would probably, once we get into this, so we are going to try to organize these guys in sort of like a rank order. So I might start arguing with you once we get into who goes in front of who in the B, in the promising category or in the promising tier. But for now, I'm fine putting him at the high end of promising.
Okay. Yes, I would agree with that. I'm into it.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, we'll move on next to Elijah or Alec Iomanner. Sorry about that. Wide receiver for the Titans. Decent draft capital here. What do you got to say about Iomanner?
Yeah, so for him, I like the draft capital. I thought it was kind of a strange look how it all shook out, with him being the second wide receiver that the Titans drafted.
Hmm.
I know that we both like Io Manor quite a bit, so I'm not really shook by the draft capital disparity, because it was the same round. It was kind of a weird thing. We'll get into the other guy here in a little while, but I like Alec quite a bit. I would give him a promising as
Okay.
well in this situation. And I think for the most part, for me, it's has to do with the depth chart.
Yeah.
So I mean, they
Uh-huh.
brought in Tyler Lockett and Van Jefferson, and then we know the situation with Traylon Burks. So there's really nothing to stop him from being promising, starter or whatever.
Hmm.
I think I have him high on the promising list,
Okay.
but I need to see it. I just don't trust this offense enough to put him as a starter. But I definitely like him a lot, and he's caught my eye.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have him in a low B, high C area, just because like what you're saying, the Titans offense is a big mystery to me. And I'm not sure that I really want to rely on it. But you're right. I mean, Van Jefferson's really the only competition keeping him away from the starting lineup. And he's at a strong camp, which I mean, I think we both thought this would be a guy that would have a strong camp just based on the style that he plays, like
Yeah.
getting open, just solid route runner, good hands. Like maybe he's not going to blow you away, but could be a consistent presence for Cam Ward, and then they brought in Tyler Lockett, and then they had Calvin Ridley, but both those dudes are old.
Mhm.
So injury risk, but also like maybe going forward, they want to look at least get Higher Manor into the lineup to see how he looks, see if they need to address the position again. So I'm fine putting him. Again, I'll probably start arguing once we get into this B tier, this promising tier here, where he should end up. But
Okay.
for I'm good with him being in the promising category. I did like him a lot coming out. I was surprised by the fourth round draft capital for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of a big slide. But I think, yeah, me and you, we're on the same page here.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Next up, we've got Jack Beck. Second round pick by the Las Vegas Raiders, excuse me. Not as a splashy camp as some of these other guys, but that kind of makes sense to me. Like he's not necessarily a splashy guy. He's just a consistent big body presence. I mean, he's a converted tight end. He is going into a run first offense. You know, they got Brock Bowers there and Daquan Thornton. Or sorry, it's not Daquan. I keep getting that mixed up. What's
Dante,
Dante Thornton has had an explosive camp, and people are really
big
excited
time.
about him. So
Should be.
I've got Beck here again. I got him kind of in the low B, high C area. How are you feeling?
I've got him, yeah, B,
Okay.
promising. So, yeah. I don't know. This one is going to be a weird one because he feels like the shoe in for excitement, but I mean, I've been kind of heating up on Thornton as well.
Hmm.
So now that the camp is coming out, I mean, Beck had a great combine and was kind of riding some big time hype. And then the draft capital was definitely hype fueled, although you can never be too excited about a Raiders draft capital situation. So I want to see how it shakes out. It could be a promising starter, but it could also be another one of those draft capital doesn't mean anything once they start playing.
Yeah.
Could be Thornton's team here.
Well, here I'm gonna kind of spoil what I was gonna say about Thornton later on.
Yeah. Okay.
But Thornton, I think it's great. I'm interested that he's gonna have a great camp or has been having a great camp. But also a guy that's 6'5" that can run a 4.3. Duh, of course he's gonna look great in shorts.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
he's just a different body presence that like is gonna show out compared to everybody out there. And I just think Beck maybe not necessarily going to be as flashy, but when push comes to shove and when it comes time to actually move the ball down the field, I could see Beck kind of being the more consistent guy, whereas Thornton ends up being that kind of deep presence, which they need.
Yep.
Now, in terms of here, do we want to put him behind Io Manor or in front of Io Manor?
I think I'd leave him behind.
Leave him behind. Okay,
Yeah. All
fair enough.
right.
I was pretty high on him. I would probably switch these two myself, but
Do it. Okay. So now, I mean, he's the only one in the promising category that I had as a plus. So like he's
okay.
pretty much the top of my promising.
Io Manor or
No,
Beck?
Beck.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So you're good.
Okay, we'll leave him right there then. I
I
do like
just said, yeah, I got a little weird when I looked at the Titans depth chart.
I love it. That's awesome. All right. Well, let's move on. Next up, we've got Jaden Blue here. Brian Schottenheimer's already talked about how he's impressed with Blue during camp. I'm reading articles already that maybe they're going to cut Miles Sanders down in Dallas in favor of Jaden Blue, and he obviously has a different skill set to the rest of the team. I got him low B, maybe more high C, more intrigued by what's going on. Also, this C category, it's intrigued slash unsure. So kind of like a maybe positive slash negative type thing. Could be going either way. Just we're not sure what to do, but I'm intrigued by this landing spot and think he could be worth something.
Okay, so this is gonna be really boring because by sorting alphabetically by last name, I'm really hitting a pretty good run on the
On the
B
promising.
grade. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not all 51 Bs on my list, but it may seem that way here out the gate.
I kind of
Personally,
feel the same way.
it's for me, I mean, it's obvious that, it's the depth chart because when you look at the competition, it's question mark, bust, and then, Deuce Vaughn. So
Yeah.
if you're looking at Javonte Williams, who I think we all think could be the best, version of himself he's ever been, but like we've also been waiting for that for, 3, 4 years.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have Miles Sanders, which I mean, he had success with Philadelphia at times, but it kind of feels like that was more of a team thing than a player thing. So, Blue just having the opportunity on a team that, has kind of just ignored this position seriously for a couple of years. It feels like they aren't going to be shy about letting him, take the lead if he proves to be that guy.
Yeah.
So I'm beyond intrigued. It feels like a intriguing player and a promising landing spot, so I'm going to keep him in the B side.
Okay. Yeah, I can handle that. I mean, I have him low B as well. It is kind of funny that a lot of these do seem to be low B, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. There's no reason he can't come out and show out over Javante if Javante doesn't look good like he hasn't really in a few years. So yeah, I think he's going to get worked into the rotation fairly early. And like I said, he brings a different dynamic to that offense. So it makes sense that they'll probably want to use him. All right, on to Pat Bryant. I know this is a guy that you were into. What do you got to say about Mr. Bryant?
Mr. Bryant. So first of all, and this goes back to what I said about the Las Vegas draft capital. Denver draft capital is just like, don't even look at it,
Hmm.
because this is a player that I was totally into, in the film process, coming out of Illinois, and then he comes through in the third round, which was like, whoa, what are you guys doing? You're freaking me out. A little too rich for my blood. But then you look at the depth chart, and it's got to be somebody. I mean, Marvin Mims seems like kind of a
Hmm.
role player type, gadgety, deep guy. And then you got Vole, and then Troy Franklin, who failed to pop last year. And so they're still looking for that Jerry Judy type, every down threat. And I feel like Bryant could be that guy. So I kept him in the promising zone just
Okay.
because if you're going to draft a guy in the third round and your depth charts look like this, then he probably has a chance to get out there and prove that he was overdrafted or that he was kind of a sleeper. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, he's a guy doesn't have a lot of explosive traits, but is fair really consistent, has really good hands on an offense that does throw the ball and throws to everyone. So you're right. I mean, my thing is he kind of fits into what Cortland Sutton and Valet do. Now Valet's like already about to retire, so you never know. But
This guy ageist as fuck.
what really got me uh keeping Pat Bryant in the low B here is that Sean Payton's like comparing him to Michael Thomas already, which obviously coach speak, whatever. But that's, I mean, it's a guy that played or coached Michael Thomas, and you're already talking about him that way. And like you said, they took him in the third round. Just a lot of like, okay, like we should definitely keep this guy on our radar and make sure that we're not sleeping on him at all. So I'm fine with him being in B. Now that we've added a few Bs in here, though, should we switch any of these guys? Maybe like a blue is blue towards the end of B, and you like Bryant more. Does Bryant go all the way up in front of Io Manor? How are you feeling there?
Um, I do think Io Manor can probably be moved to the back.
To the very end.
Yes, I
Okay.
think that looks good to me.
Okay, this right here. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
like
because.
this.
Okay, now Cam Ward could be awesome, and Io Manor could be the next Puka Nacua or something like that.
True.
But it's we're in June, so it's hard. You can't put that on paper, but
Yeah, yeah. No, I
that
hear
looks
you.
good.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we'll move on to
Uh,
Chicago. Oh, did you have
ugh,
something?
no, just looking at the list.
Oh, gotcha. All right, let's move on to Chicago with Luther Burden the third. Now, this is a really interesting one because the guy I know we both liked a lot, super high capital. He has not signed yet, which I did kind of read into this because a lot of second round picks haven't signed. And Joel Corey of CBS Sports was talking about how it's all down to Tyler Suck. Uh, and the fact that he is like not demanding but fighting for a fully guaranteed contract. So all of these second round picks that are in that area are kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for Suck to get signed. And so that's
Gotcha.
that's why it's not like he's holding out or anything. It's just all these agents are like, let's pump the brakes, see what he can get. Because if he gets fully guaranteed, then they're all going to fight for the same thing.
Huh.
But with all that being said, he's been hurt all of camp, and Ben Johnson kind of like blasted him about availability and like you need to be out here and you need to be able to be here not just for us but for your teammates and all that stuff. So that's kind of weird. He's in a crowded receiving room now. I mean, Olamide Zaccheaus holds the slot right now. If you look at our lads, which I mean, I think Burden could beat him. But I
Hmm.
ended up like this is the guy I would have thought would have been like closer to A, but I kind of have him right now sitting in C for this year. This isn't a projection of their whole career, but either like high C to again this low B area.
Yeah, so for me, I had him as a B, but I think like I guess unsure is probably the best way to describe it. So I would see your ranking and agree with
Okay, you want to throw him at the very top of C here right now?
Yeah, that feels about right.
Okay, this is gonna be one that gets us heated up if you just see the picture for sure. Gets lit on fire on social media, but I just because of everything that's going on in Chicago right now. Now, once he hits the field, I think he's a guy that'll definitely move up these rankings fairly quickly. But for now, yeah, I kind of think just unsure, intrigued still. But let's put it this way: I took him over Jaden Higgins in a league, and I'm already kicking myself about it.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. I took him over Kyle Williams and I'm a little upset about that. So that's kind of keeps him out of the B category. I mean, it was just a landing spot, like it feels like I hate to say it, it feels like a Rashad Bateman situation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
what could have been if he had gone somewhere where he could have just,
Just hit
blossomed.
the
But
ground running. Yeah.
yeah, doesn't appear to be an option at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely feels weird to put him in C, but I think again he'll move up. But for now, we're gonna leave him there.
Okay. Jackson Dart. No, who's this next guy? I don't recognize him by picture. No, it's very funny to say.
Yeah, so it is Jackson Dart up next. No C's in this draft, so we go straight to Jackson Dart. Obviously, Dart is going to start off on the bench. Russell Wilson's already kind of claimed that spot, it seems like. And Dart's camp was up and down, but I do think he showed the traits to that he'll belong in the NFL. And I like his sneaky rushing ability in terms of fantasy. So I actually have him like as a high B, like potentially at the top, or maybe even a low end A.
Okay, I have him as a high B as well.
Okay, so you want to put him like right at the front of B then?
Yes, yes, yes. I would, can't call him the starter at this point for
Hmm.
Russell reasons. But I've all seen what New York does with their first round quarterbacks, regardless of talent. He's got a contract extension in his future, even if he completely sucks ass. So he might have some fantasy relevance, and especially in your super flex leagues, he's probably a late first, so we got to give him that promising bump.
Yeah, and just I mean, eventually, and maybe this is just me not believing in the Giants. When the Giants are 2-4 or 2-5, staring down the barrel of a early pick, it's like, why not? Like, what's the point in rolling out Russell Wilson at that point? Roll out Dart, see what you have. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at. Eventually, he's going to take this job, and that's why I had him there. But I get it. He's not going to be the starter right away for sure. We're going to have to wait and see on him. But I do like his potential for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Can't wait for them to draft Manning next year.
That'd be
It'll be
nuts.
weird. It's gonna be awkward.
Moving on, we got another Titan wide receiver here. The Titans really went
Oh,
after the draft in trying to get their new superstar quarterback some weapons. So Chamari Dike, deep threat potential. Obviously, Cam Ward has a big arm, and there's not a ton of competition necessarily there. I mean, this is more kind of projecting a few more years down the road. There's three rookies in their wide receiver core that are all second spot on the R lads depth chart behind some aging vets.
real
All
old.
that being said, I've got DK like high D, low C type area.
Yes. Okay. I like that. I have him as a C for
Okay,
sure.
so we'll put him on the low end of C there. I just think he's more there to fill a deep role and give that offense a little bit of versatility and a little bit of vertical threat. Whereas I just I see Iron Manor as being more of like a consistent guy there.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's definitely. I still don't understand how he got drafted before Io Manor. I don't understand.
Yeah, it
I don't think
speed
it has
kills.
anything to do with like the reality of the situation, in my opinion.
I hear you. All right, so now we're getting into Emeka Ibuka, and boy, if you want to talk about camp hype, Ibuka is loud and boisterous as anybody. Not him necessarily, but the camp hype on him. It is a crowded wide receiver room, but it is old and it is injured. And I don't know, man. Like maybe at first I thought Jalen McMillan might be able to hold him off. and we might have to wait. But Ibuka's potential is just going crazy, and I think there might have been a little prospect fatigue on this guy, kind of weighing him down a bit, and then the landing spot had people a little confused. But I've got him pretty solidly in A.
Oof. Okay. I have him at the top of my B
Okay.
for year one, but I mean, I can let you have this one. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to hold you down.
We'll
I
keep
think
him on the
that,
low end because I do think he could end up playing. A, you got an injury that pops up with two of these older guys, or B,
yeah.
he just beats out McMillan.
I mean,
Um,
I feel like he's going to beat out McMillan, and then it's up to Godwin to stay healthy
mhm.
or for them to be competitive enough to keep Godwin. Like, if I feel like if they're losing, they're going to trade one of these vets.
Yeah, I can see
So,
that.
and then all of a
Maybe
sudden
not.
he's
The Bucks
on the
are
front.
incredibly loyal when it comes to NFL team standards.
Nah, man, forget all that loyalty.
I got you. All right. Well, we have our first A for now. And obviously, we can bump some of these guys if we start to get crowded or start to feel a certain way. But for now, we've got our first A. Next up, we've got Trevor Etienne. Solid prospect. Like I liked him in terms of like a guy to add to your running back room in the draft. I don't think he has a ton of upside. And then you look at the Panthers running back room, they just paid Chuba Hubbard and they brought in Rico Dowdle. And then Brooks obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Brooks, but at some point you would hope to see him. So to me, Trevor Etienne is a high D, maybe a low C if you want to buy that he could beat out Dowdle for the like really the RB2 role. I don't know. Dowdle had a pretty decent season last year, and so I feel like he's more of an RB3 rotational guy.
Yeah, I definitely got him in the D category
Okay,
for
perfect.
sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers to this. First of all, Chuba seems like he's playing like a bell cow
Yeah,
running back at the
he
moment.
really is.
So, and plus, there's so much that needs to be fixed with this offense outside of the running back room that I don't think like rotating in the rookie is not going to be something they do. I think that they'll treat Chuba as kind of a consistent
Hmm.
pillar, cornerstone of the offense.
Yeah.
Working Rico, who did have a great year really, and
Hmm.
got a decent contract. So we'll give we'll give those two guys something. I don't think. I mean, honestly, I'm about to drop. Brooks in a few spots. It's
Okay.
just heartbreaking at this point. So I don't see him as a threat, but at the same time, you don't really want to get too hyped on a fourth round RB that's third on the depth chart on an offense that isn't really producing at a high level.
For sure. And yeah, with Brooks, him being on the pup list, so we won't see him this year.
Right.
So that makes it really hard to really think about him right now. But I'm with you. I think solid backup territory. Obviously, if you have an injury to Dowdle or Chuba, maybe you start looking at an ETN. But for now, yeah, he's our first D category backup. Now let's talk about a guy that we both loved in the
Mhm.
draft in Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green, going to the Cleveland Browns. How are you feeling here?
So for me, I've got him pretty high. I've got him as a B,
Okay.
which feels weird, but I mean, it was third round draft capital.
Hmm.
He was, the leading pass receiver, leading receiving yards guy for all of college last year. So
True.
he's kicking the butt, and it's not about being behind Njoku on this offense or
Hmm.
the question marks in the quarterback room. For me, it's the wide receiver depth that is lacking. There's nothing
Hmm.
really. I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, and then Deontay Johnson, who apparently drove off a cliff somewhere. Um, but he's trying to salvage his career. So there's nothing keeping him out of the slot, and really thrived in that role in college at Bowling Green. So I think I mean, I think he's Isaiah Likely plus on an
Okay.
offense that's not afraid to actually pass the ball. Sorry, I don't know
Gotcha.
why I'm such a Ravens hater these days.
No, I'm with you. I agree with what you're saying. For me, it is the quarterback and the offense in general, though. Like, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. Like Joe Flacco. Like, I know everyone wants to just say that Joe Flacco is going to be like he was 2 years ago for the Browns, but like he didn't look good on the Colts last year, and he's just a year older. And I just think that offense is going to be really bad. But you're right. We did love his tape. We did love the draft capital. Obviously, I had him in C, but you gave me Abuka up in A, so I'll give you it here. Now, in
Okay.
terms of where we're gonna slide him in, is he the back end of B for you? Is he in front of Io Manor and Pat Bryant? Where do you have him kind of slotting in?
In my B rankings, he's dead last.
Dead last. Okay, we'll leave him
So,
there then. That's fine with me. I had him pretty firmly at the head, or like kind of at the front of C.
okay. So
So
we're pretty
I'm
close.
yeah, I'm fine with him being a B there. I just
Okay.
have
If
more
B gets
questions.
crowded, we can.
Yeah, we can knock him down. We'll see. We'll
We are
see.
definitely unsure of the
Yeah.
guys surround the ball there for sure. But Shador, dude, Shador,
Yeah, we'll get
just
into Shador in here in a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah. All right.
But also like obviously we're gonna be a little I know more optimistic here, I think.
Oh
It's
yeah, you
easy to
have to
like
be. I mean,
yeah, it's easy to project a lot of these guys. Well, as the season goes along, these guys are gonna move, but I mean it's hard to like not get excited about these guys and want them to be successful.
and like, I mean, the way it is, superstars, that's pretty defined. Starters, like these are guys that you feel comfortable playing in your lineup week
Mm-hmm.
one. Like there's not going to be a lot of rookies that make that.
No, absolutely not.
So it makes sense to have guys promising is like
A
dudes on your
fat
bench
middle.
that you
Yeah.
hope that by the middle of the season you could slot into a flex or they pop. And I think I think
Or
we
even
optimism is where it's at.
yeah, or even you just know going into further years that they're going to be something. Like if you end your rookie season as a promising B tier, then that's great. You know, like that means going forward, like I'm excited about you. I'm keeping you on my roster.
Right.
Anything lower than that, obviously C is a little bit up and down, but like D and F,
Sure.
which hopefully we won't have many Fs here. But
Well,
anyway, let's
I got
move
about
on.
20 of them.
Let's move on to number 12. This was an interesting
Oh
pick to
fuck.
me in the third round for Ty Felton for the Minnesota Vikings. Super crowded wide receiver room, obviously. He's got future potential, and we've seen the Vikings use three guys before, and he gives them some speed, like one of the fastest 40s in terms of wide receiver. But for me, very easily in the D spot for his rookie year as a backup.
Oh damn, I put an F. I gave him an F.
Really? Okay. All
I gave him
right.
the F.
All
Yeah,
right.
for and hey, I could be wrong, but there's no like you got Hawkinson,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Aaron Jones, pretty awesome as a pass catcher, and
Yeah.
then you got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, a pair of first rounders. Like there's no leaks, there's no opportunities, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been trying to use Jalen Naylor.
Mm-hmm.
I think they like him. So for Felton to get on the team and he's battling Rondell Moore, which means next to nothing, but I think that I don't think that the third Minnesota wide receiver is necessarily uh, an appetizing role in fantasy just
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
Justin Jefferson's getting hyper targeted, period.
Hmm. And
Like
this
you
is
got to keep him happy.
yeah, and this is also JJ McCarthy's first, so we don't really know
Boom.
what to expect.
Unsure.
So, okay, fair enough. We can leave him an F for now. Poor
Got
guy.
him. Yeah, locking you out.
Third round capital, pretty crazy on him though. That was a shocking pick to me. Now, all right, this might be a bang the table moment for me here.
Okay.
We're getting into Terrence Ferguson, tight end of the Los Angeles Rams, and I have him right about here, right at the end of
Oh,
A. Now, I
oh,
know this is going to be a bit of a hot take, maybe, but Tyler Higbee only played 4 games last season. He's 32 years old, coming off an injury, a pretty significant injury at that. And the Rams' first pick in the draft was Terrence Ferguson, in the second round. And everything out of camp so far, they're all impressed by him. Stafford's talking about how great he looked. and how he's impressed about how he has already adapted the game and like is already mentally there and ready. And I think by the end of the year, maybe not right off rip, but by the end of the year, I think Terrace Ferguson will be a starter for you at tight end. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Ouch. Okay, well, that's a big jump from my rank, but
Oh, did you have him in C?
yeah, he's like the top of C for me.
Okay.
He's the very top of the C. And I don't know why. He probably shouldn't have been there. He says it says plus, which means he was a guy that I wanted to put in B. Um anyway, I can't argue with you. I mean, yeah, Higby didn't play much. He never really popped off. Uh I don't know, the draft capital's great. We did like Ferguson. He was kind of the heart of that Oregon team
Hmm.
that didn't have anything else really going on. And Matthew Stafford exists. The running game's strong enough. There's nothing really as a, number three wideout to keep the targets down. All right, I'll give it to you, man. I'll give you this one. I
Well,
like it.
we can. Okay, are you sure you want to put him in A or do you want to put him down to B?
No, I want to put him in A.
Okay, let's put him in A.
Yeah. See, this is my bad. I did it by position. And so by the time I got to tight ends, I was like,
Just
you
over
know,
it.
it was not over. I wasn't over it, okay. But I don't know. I had him behind Harold Fanning, apparently.
Oh, God. See, I couldn't do that. As much as I liked Fanning coming out, I think Ferguson and Arroyo are both guys that could be starting tight ends by the end of their rookie year.
Yeah.
And Fannin, I think could be, but I
Mm.
think there's a less of a chance, even if he's the starting guy on the depth chart, which he's not beating out Njoku anytime soon anyway.
No, never. I mean,
But even if Njoku got hurt, I have less faith in him being productive because of the offense he's on. Whereas these
yeah,
other
the
two
Sean
guys,
McVay bump
yeah,
for
the Sean McVay
Ferguson.
bump and the Stafford bump, you
And
know.
it's a second round pick. That's good. I like Arroyo a lot too, man. All right, this is cool. I
Okay.
gotta reevaluate my rosters, get some of my old tight ends out of here.
Your tight end rankings, I got you. Well, speaking of tight ends, let's move on to Aronde
Uh-oh.
Gaddison the second, the other Los Angeles tight end. He was taken in the fifth round, so just made the cut. So low end capital. He has had a really buzzy camp though, and some nice tape in terms of a like big body contested catch guy. I don't think Will Dissly and Tyler Conkin will be a cakewalk, specifically in an offense that doesn't throw that much.
Mm.
That's my thing with Gaddison. So I've got him in C and kind of towards the upper end of C, definitely in front of DK to me. But I'm more intrigued and want to get shares of him to see what happens with him.
Yeah, I've got him right in front of DK, right there in the C. Yeah, this is a player that I was totally in on. Really enjoyed the film. It's like a wide receiver convert at Syracuse, and I thought he was aggressive, really good in the red zone, like you're saying, contested catch guy. Um, but when you look at this team, it's it's hard to project a lot of usage for the tight end room, like you're saying.
Hmm.
They're going to want to run the ball and they're going to want to do explosive things with Ladd and get Trey Harris going. And I bet they really try to force the Quentin Johnson thing to work to
Hmm.
find a role for him. I think all of that takes priority over the tight end room, but they got a good value, especially in the fifth round. And I am unsure, but I'm super intrigued on him, and hopefully he proves us wrong, and he just kind of makes his way to the head of this totem pole.
Yeah, I just think he might be a slower burn than some of these other tight ends, but this was such a deep tight end class. Yeah, I'm super intrigued about him as well. All right, moving on to DJ Giddens, running back for the Colts. He's only really going to be a factor if Jonathan Taylor goes down, but he could be an immediate backup. I do think people are sleeping on Khalil Herbert just a little bit. Like we've seen some good stuff about from Herbert in terms of being a backup. Like, I don't think that
Hmm.
Giddens is just going to immediately come in and take that number two role. So I do have him in the D category, but I would probably put him at the front of that category.
Yeah, I've got him as a D. I
Mm.
don't think people are sleeping on Khalil Herbert. I think that experiment is over. Um, I was looking at his usage last year in Chicago, and it was just kind of sad. Or was it Cincinnati? Damn it,
It
Cincinnati.
was Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive
That's
when I
fair.
was going through a few things. So I'm keeping him firmly in the D category, but obviously, if something happens with Jonathan Taylor, then it's going to be
Yeah, he'll move up.
absolutely. I'm not counting on it though. You got Ulysses Bentley the fourth in there too, man.
Oh shit. Civil War general.
That's right.
All right, all right, so Matthew Golden's up next, and this is a guy we both liked a lot on tape. Some people sleep on him. I don't know if they're watching the same tape. I think he is expected and needed to make an immediate impact for the Packers. He adds speed to a wide receiver core that doesn't honestly have a lot of speed once you take Watson out. And even though Watson, was posting some Instagram stuff today where he was looking way healthier than you would think for how late in the season he hurt that ACL. And with a healthier Jordan Love, I just think this Packers offense is going to look good. So I have him pretty firmly in A.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Um, he's clearly in the A for me. Well, I'd say he's, I don't know. I have to re-rank it, but he's middle of the A for me.
Middle of the A. Yeah, we haven't got some of these other A guys in yet. So, but right now he'll be at the front of the A, but I'm with you, kind of middle. I know some people would put Ibuka up in front of him, and
Not me.
maybe sophomore year we could see that happen where he's more productive. But in terms of rookie season, I think Golden has got it locked in. Now, to me, this is the perfect combination of landing spot and draft capital. So I've got Hampton in the S tier.
Smokey Joe. I have Hampton as the first name in my A
The
tier.
first name in A tier. Okay.
But I get no, you're right.
You
First
want
round draft capital for a running back. Gotta respect, give respect where respect is due. He's gonna get every opportunity in a
to
stellar offense.
Yeah, and just because yeah, he's on a great offense and an offense that wants to run the ball a lot. It just makes sense to me that even if Harris is splitting time with him at first, I think Hampton will take that role over pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah, to me there are a few clear superstars
Yeah, he's
and then
fringe. He's fringy.
yeah, he's superstar potential, big time, big time.
Well, we're all about potential here on RDR, so we'll put
Bring
him in the
it.
superstar for now. All right, now Trey Harris. This is a guy we both liked, but I know
Yep.
you absolutely loved. So what are we doing with Trey Harris?
I've got him as an A for me.
Okay.
He's kind of back into the A's. Definitely behind Ibuka.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've kind of talked a little bit about the Chargers offense. I think that, given the draft capital, second round draft pick, which totally makes sense, and the outrageous success he had with Ole Miss, I think that if he can translate his kind of unconventional game, kind of like aggressive route running, but in an unconventional way, if he can translate that to the NFL, then he's going to be one of those, wild card type players, especially with the true threat of Lad McConkey on the other side. He
Hmm.
could get some really soft looks that allow him to showcase the separation kind of after the catch, first couple step things that he does. So I'm pumped about him for sure. Put him
Yeah,
above Ferguson, please. Thank you.
he is. I had him actually kind of at the front of B, only
Ooh,
because the Chargers, they did bring in Mike Williams, and they do, I think I'm with you. I think they're going to try to force that Quentin Johnston thing to
yep.
happen. And whereas he was inconsistent, they were using him quite a bit last year.
Hmm.
And it's just that they're not going to throw as much. So it lends to like maybe he doesn't have as much production. But I'm fine putting him in A because I do think eventually he'll be there. I just kind of almost see it as maybe a second year thing where he's consistent. I do think he'll pop games and look really good and be hard to ignore, which is why I'm fine putting him here in A. But that's just where I had him, just based on like opportunity, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is true. It's gonna be a tight roster for getting overloaded.
Yeah, and I think I'm also a Lad McConkey stan, and I just think he's gonna end up absorbing like a million targets. So, which I'm super excited about. All right,
Yeah.
so here we go. RJ Harvey, one of the talks of the offseason. I do think that J.K. Dobbins side hurts him a little, maybe not a ton, but I think it takes like goal line stuff away and like maybe those kind of opportunities. How are we feeling about Harvey? I do have him in A.
I've got him firmly in the B. Actually, just a
Okay,
top B for me.
top B.
Second, well, number two B. Let's see, who's my number one B? But yeah, for me, it's purely the J.K. Dobbins signing.
Okay,
Kind of threw a wrench in my excitement.
gotcha.
So
All right. Well, how about let's split the difference because I honestly probably would have had him towards the front of A. So let's put him about here. And then honestly, the more we do this, I do think maybe Ferguson needs to be bumped down to
okay,
promising right here.
okay. I see this is fluid, man.
The front of promising. I am going to
Okay,
say
I'll give
that.
you front of promising.
But I do think by the end of the year, and I'm calling it now, Jake or Terrence Ferguson will be in that A category. But for now, we'll move him
Okay.
down because I like the look of this a little better than having
Yes,
Harvey down
yes.
there. So,
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know though. We might run out of room, horizontal space. We have to bump Ferguson up to A just to make room for the dude on the chart.
well, we could on the upside though. Once you get here, it just makes another row, so we can just have a fatter B section.
Oh,
So,
look at you.
but all right. Gunnar Helm is next. A guy that I don't think we would be talking about except for the fact that he was taken, I believe, in the fourth
Fourth,
round.
yeah.
Yeah, the fourth round. I don't know, fucking D, like or F. Like
Straight up. I gave him a
I,
D.
he gave him a D.
Um,
I can handle D.
it was purely just like Chig has got the failure to launch, man.
For
Just
sure. My thing with Chig though, he kind of fits what Arroyo did in Miami
yeah, that's the
for
truth.
Ward though. And so like I
Yeah.
think maybe they try that for 1 year. And it's not I don't see Gunnar Helm as a guy that's gonna break the world. But I'm fine with putting him in D because I do think he's like the number two there guy by the Titans, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. But
Oh yeah. Well, you said Cam Ward, and I said Chig. You know, if
that's
people
fair.
know, people
They
know.
got it. They should
You
be up to
figured it
date.
out. Breadcrumbs.
Not a lot to talk about there.
No.
But all right, now we've got a guy,
Okay, it's
Travion
gonna get weird.
Henderson. All right. Travion Henderson, explosive ability. The Patriots offense is supposed to be better. Everyone still questions his bell cow status, but I mean, Mike Vrabel's an RB guy, and he took him at the top of the second round. I think it easily is he the front of A that we have right now, or do we
No.
have him behind Golden,
I have him behind Ibuka.
or behind Abuka as well?
Yes. I'm
Okay,
struggling with this one just as of last night,
okay,
for some reason, because even calling him a starter is kind of tricky for me.
yeah,
He's definitely an A for me, but like there's Ramondre doesn't suck, you know,
Mm.
and he
Yeah,
is gonna probably have the first right as a runner. I guess it just depends on what the coaching staff wants to do with Vrabel and everything. But to me, there's not enough pop on this offense to, I don't know. It feels like a long term investment for Henderson. I think that he's probably going to be a um, clear starter next year, but
okay.
I feel like there's a lot to sift through.
Just kind of work
Um,
him in this year.
But yeah, he's great right there
Okay.
behind Ibuka. I definitely wouldn't put him over Golden, even though, you know, if I was doing a dynasty rookie draft, I would take him over Golden, you know, but
I guess those are two different things though. Like it's harder to find running backs and wide receivers. The running backs we have are starting to age out. So yeah, I'm with you. It makes sense. I hope he ends up being the starter, but I hear what you're saying, so I'm fine with leaving Henderson right there.
Okay.
All right, next up we've got Jaden Higgins. Honestly, should get immediate action. Big target, explosive traits, great young QB. Still questions about that offensive line, but I think it's pretty easy to put him. I don't know, in this kind of area. Is he in front of Henderson, behind Henderson?
I have him right behind Henderson on mine.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that move. I do like him more than Trey Harris, I think.
Yeah, I do too. I do
But
too.
okay,
Silly stuff, dude. Yeah, we should do a rookie draft now. I'm
yeah,
ready
we should.
now. After this exercise, I'm ready now.
Oh no. But yeah, I mean, you got anything more to say about Higgins or
No, honestly, I mean, he can't beat out Nico for the number one, and then there's enough like randomness with the Tank Dell potential to
hmm
creep up and get him. And then you got to look at like the Noel of it all. Like there's a chance, you know, there's a chance, that he could be competing um toe to toe. So. It's hard to envision him as a superstar, but he's definitely going to get every opportunity to be the 1B and hopefully not a 2 on this offense.
gotcha. No, I hear you there. That makes a lot of sense to me. And he's gonna get the opportunity for sure. All right, moving on. Torrey Horton. This is a guy I liked quite a
Yeah, he
bit.
did.
Only MVS and old man Cooper Kupp are ahead of him on the depth chart in Seattle. I
Mm.
like this landing spot quite a bit, and he does add some speed. I think eventually he takes over that kind of MVS role. On that note, I've got him sitting right about here, right in front of Gadsden. Maybe you could put him behind Gadsden, but he's definitely in front of DK for me.
Yeah, for me, I've got him there in the C as well, and I have him right behind DK.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't matter necessarily when you get to the C's where we split the hairs. But for me, the depth chart is a little more aggressive
Mm,
that he's facing, and then I'm not 100% in on Sam Darnold outside of a Kevin O'Connell offense. It's kind
gotcha.
of where I'm at with the whole thing. But we're right there. I mean, yes, intriguing for sure.
Definitely intriguing. I'm gonna leave him if it's okay with you. I'm gonna leave him in front of DK.
Yeah,
I just there's something about DK that I just am kind of like I don't
no,
know,
I get it, dude.
not entranced by. So
Yeah, he looks like he should have a mustache. I give him that.
fair enough. All right, going on to our 24th guy here, we've got Jarquez Hunter. Uh, super spicy landing spot in terms of coaching, decent draft capital. I
Hmm.
do think, and I was kind of the leader of this. Maybe we should stop calling for the death of Kyron Williams, though.
Yeah,
So I've
yeah.
got a Hunter maybe here at the beginning of D or the end of C.
I got a high D for him.
High D. Okay, is he in front of Giddens or
I'd say he's in front of it. And no, 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 no. This is yeah, he's in front of Giddens.
okay, he's in front of Giddens. I like that. I think it makes
I feel
we
like Jonathan Taylor's finally just gonna figure it out. He's
yeah, well,
been
he looked
amazing.
great at the end of the last year. He just hasn't stayed
Yeah,
on the field consistently, but
he just got to be out there. I think he's got it. I think this is the Jonathan Taylor remember me year
yeah. Don't you forget about me. All right, this one I think is pretty easy. We got Travis Hunter up next. He slides up into the S tier, yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Especially
cut and
with
dry.
I mean, they talk about him moving different and using him on offense a lot. So I mean, if he even if he's the number two to Brian Thomas Jr.,
He will be.
um,
Yeah.
I just yeah, I mean he's like low S here for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at hopefully Trevor Lawrence can get his foot in the ground and climb. But his pass catchers, if Travis Hunter is not primarily a wide receiver, we're talking about Brennan Strange or Brenton Strange with a
Yeah.
little bit of Diami Brown and Parker Washington outside of Brian Thomas. So they're basically saying like Travis Hunter, you can play cornerback like next year, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
But you're
we'll see.
definitely a wide receiver here, big time. I think he's going to get buried in targets. It's going to be probably really interesting. I feel like this is going to be one of the most exciting crappy teams to watch in this upcoming season.
I could see that. That's kind of the definition of the Jaguars, exciting but crappy. So
Big time.
I'm with you. I'm interested to see how that target share works out and how much it takes off of BTJ or if it adds to his uh, ability or whatever. Jordan James is up next. I think this is a really fun landing spot. I mean, the CMC of it all is interesting
Hmm.
if he's back and healthy, but he's still old. And then Garendo is really the only guy in front of James because they lost Jordan or traded Mason and lost Elijah Mitchell. That being said, I do have him firmly kind of like in the middle of the pack in the D tier.
Yeah, same here. I've got him towards the top end. I kind of like him over Giddens
Okay, I'm fine with that.
just because I like the player.
Gotcha. Like the player a little better.
Obviously, in CMC, if CMC plays, 17 games, and James is going to be a roster clog. But if they rotate him, then it's going to be, going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I hear you. I did like James a lot. I remember us talking about like again, he's one of these guys you can throw into an RB room and instantly feel way better
Hmm.
about where your RB
Fifth
room
was
is
a
at.
low for him. It's kind of a we're kind of
Yeah,
surprised he slid that late, but it was a deep class, so makes sense. Some of these guys are going to get drafted that late.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now we're about to go on a pretty sweet little run here on running backs. Um, but I think this first one super easy. Ashton Genty, just place him right up there at the top
You win.
of the superstar rankings. Yeah, I don't think there's much we can really argue there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't fuck it up, Pete. Like, no, this is gonna be great. Man, the season's gonna be fun, and a big part of it for me is this rookie class. Wasn't a huge like free agency trade market this
hmm
year. A lot of consistent rosters as far as vets go, but these rookies, there's just so much juice, man.
There's a ton of juice for sure. On that note, we got Caleb Johnson coming up next. I'm not super scared of Jalen Warren. And
No.
the camp buzz, it says Caleb Johnson's picking up the pass protection stuff really easily, which is going to have him out there more often. I think he's could be slated for a pretty huge role. He seems like a natural fit in Pittsburgh. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I kind of have him like towards the higher end of A,
Yeah,
maybe.
I've got him above Henderson for sure.
Okay, so I like that spot right in front of Henderson there. Maybe it takes a week or two of Jalen Warren just because of that offense. And then obviously the Pittsburgh offense with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, who knows how it's going to look. So it could be one of those
Uh,
opportunity but not a great offense type deals. But yeah, I think Caleb Johnson's going to have a great rookie season.
hell yeah.
All right, Quinshon Judkins up next. Another one of these just stud running backs. I think he's in the A too. It just kind of depends on where we have him. He's more of a bell cow than Henderson, in my opinion, just built wise and like the way he looked in college. But I'm just worried about the Browns' offense and their scoring potential. So I don't know. Do you put him in front of Henderson, behind Henderson?
I've got him between Henderson and Johnson
At
right
least in,
there.
as far as rookie year.
Yeah, yeah, I think long term, um, it's going to be a gamble. Those three are like neck and neck. I think
Yeah,
that they belong together, right behind those wideouts and pretty much in front of everybody else in this tier.
Yeah, I'm with you. My heart would want to put Henderson first. I was arguing whether I should take Judkins or Henderson in our rookie draft, and I hope the for the belt rookie draft. I hope I don't end up being wrong about
Yeah.
that.
No, like
Um,
full consensus has got Henderson above these other guys, but like year one, my feel the Ramondre of it all, like Ramondre is a better running back um, than Warren, in my opinion.
mm,
And, he's better than, I don't know. There's no real competition in Cleveland. The fit for, I mean, it feels like Judkins should be above Johnson, but the fit for Johnson just feels
it
so
was
good. And that
so
offense
perfect.
has
Yeah.
such, like, it has a higher ceiling than Cleveland's offense, obviously.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I do think we're out of consensus on that one, but being so high on Johnson. But that was a guy we both loved, and I'm excited for everyone to be wrong. All right, we're
Oh
going
yeah.
into Keandre Lambert Smith here.
Oh yes, we are.
Another guy we wouldn't have really been talking about, and he was taken by the Chargers in
Uh,
the fifth round. I've got him either low D or kind of sitting right here with Ty Felton. What do you think?
yeah, it's an F, big time.
Okay. Yeah, just like I mean, Trey Harris is there. They have those three guys. Like he's really just more of a depth add if things go south. And they just don't throw the ball enough, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
Okay. Again, Jalen Lane, decent draft capital behind Debo Samuel. I think he was a fourth round pick.
Yep.
Um, but I he's behind Debo, who's an injury risk. It is a more balanced offense with the Commanders. They only threw the ball 15th most last season with Jaden Daniels, but I kind of, what do you think? Lane in here as well? Maybe high end
Absolutely.
F.
I have him behind Lambert Smith.
Okay, but in front of Felton, or is Felton at the front of here?
I had Felton at the top.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm fine with that. All
Okay.
right, moving on. Colston
Colston
Loveland
Loveland. Yay.
is a guy that we didn't love. The whole world seemed to love it,
They
and the
love
hype
them, don't
train,
they?
even with the injury during camp, the hype train has not stopped. So I've got him here, up in the A's.
Hell no, dude. You can't do that to my boys.
So back,
Listen, I got him in the B, so it doesn't
really,
matter. I think
okay.
that you can leave him. No, put him behind Higgins. All
I got
right.
him. Yeah,
I'm
he's behind Higgins here. He's at the end of
okay.
the A now.
Oh, way back. All right. I like that. I like that. I don't know, man. I hope we're wrong. Like at this point, it feels like if we're right, then we got to ramp up production because we need to be reaching these people
Yeah.
and letting them know how wrong they are. But damn, that's rough, Colston. Colston, I don't know why,
I
man. We've
just
been
think
hating on you.
opportunity wise, he's going to be there. And obviously, Ben Johnson wanted him. And he's the guy that took Sammy Ball game to being the number one tight end in fantasy in his rookie year. So I
Well, it's
just,
also the guy that drafted Luther Burden is just complaining about him. So
that is
gotta
fair.
do what you gotta do.
All right. Woody Marks is up next. Obviously, Nick Chubb got signed to the Texans. We'll see how that goes. I do think Marks will still snag a lot of the receiving work for the backs down there, and the two guys in front of him are old. You got Mixon and Chubb, but I do think he's either high end D or low end C.
Um, okay. Yeah, I've got him in the D zone.
Okay.
Yeah, filling the D on that one.
Okay. I like that.
Oh,
Um,
dude, I keep forgetting about this next guy. I keep forgetting he exists. Like, and that's not
Tet?
okay, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not okay for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, who's McMillan?
So
Ah,
Tetaroa McMillan, I think he's gonna be a target vacuum in 2025, man. I think he's instantly Bryce Young's number one option. So I've got him high A, like low S potentially.
oof. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't put him in the S, but you can head up the A's with him
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, superstar means something.
Yeah, superstar is different. It's got to be not that many up there.
Yeah, we're looking for a bell curve, but
That's
there's a
fair.
lot of good starters in this class.
Oh
So
my word, yeah, it's a deep class, especially when you're looking at these running backs and people shit on the wide receiver core of this draft and like I don't know, man. There's a bunch of guys I like. Maybe it's not so thick at the top, but like there's some guys here.
I think we saw a good alignment of landing spots and talent this year that you don't normally see
Yeah, I'm with you
as far
there.
as a wide receiver goes.
Hmm.
And really across the board, it was a nicely done draft.
Yeah, very very fun, interesting draft. Oh, you know what I realized? We don't have Dylan Gabriel on here at all. Oh well.
I knew that. I thought that was intentional. I feel like you'd nailed it.
Okay, fine. We'll just leave him off. We'll see what happens. But we are going to get into a quarterback. It's Jalen Milrow. He's going to be the backup. The hype train is real. He does have elite rushing ability. So I kind of plop him here, right in the middle of C. I'm not convinced that Sam Darnold's going to be the guy long term. I don't know that we're going to see Milrow this year necessarily, but I am interested in him.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I had him more as a backup, but my feelings about Sam Darnold, it makes sense. He should be in the C. I like that a lot, actually.
Okay.
It's a good spot for him ahead of
Tori
Torrey. Yep.
on the same team, those two. Cute.
I know it. Although the photo shoot would indicate otherwise.
Yeah, so that was annoying. Some of these guys, I could find their rookie NFL pictures, but then you had teams like the Steelers didn't have them up, and then like the Cowboys didn't. So
Hmm.
some of these guys don't look as cool and official as their counterparts here. And apparently, Torrey Horton, I don't know what he was doing that day, but I could not find his picture. So, uh,
Yeah. Who is that dude in the sorry, I'm
which
gonna
one?
the last one on backups. Oh, that's
Jalen
Helm.
Lane?
Oh,
No.
that's Lane. Oh,
Oh
on
no,
the
that is Gunnar Helm in backups, but
yeah,
he's
okay.
in a Titans jersey.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Oh,
Uh,
Melro.
all right, Jalen Noel. I think he's a wait year, which is unfortunate because we loved him and I love the landing spot. And obviously Christian Kirk's coming off injury and he could slide in if Kirk is injured. And they didn't trade a lot to get Kirk, so I kind of have him also in. Almost want to put him promising, but I'm gonna put him like kind of behind some of these guys in intriguing for this year.
Yeah. I've got him there too in the C. Pretty high in the C,
Okay. In front of
but
Gadsden.
I'd say so.
Okay. I like that. Behind Burden, in front
Burden.
of Gadsden.
Jesus. Get him out of here. Poor dude. Poor me. Poor us. Poor everyone. Man, Jalen Royals
All right,
though.
Jalen Royals. Yep, this is a
Ooh.
guy we both loved quite a bit. Landing spot was perfect. Chiefs,
Amazing.
Chiefs looking to get back to their passing ways.
Give him to
And
me.
what? Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown.
Hollywood Brown is like the guy that he's competing with. So to me, he's like here or back into B.
Give him, you got to keep him in C, man.
Got
You
to
got
keep
to
him
keep
in
him
C.
in C
Okay.
just because, I mean, they're saying that, Rice is
Yeah.
ready to cook or whatever is steaming. I don't know how many Rice jokes I'm going to make right now, but, and obviously Xavier Worthy is next level and Travis Kelsey's not really going anywhere
Not
right
yet.
now.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to prove it big time on a extremely competitive team that just got punched in the dick at the Super Bowl. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a delay just on the serious nature this team is going to be approaching the season with.
Okay, I hear you there. That makes sense. So, okay, I like front end to C for Jalen Royals, the intrigued category. It's almost like once you get halfway through the C category, it goes from being the intriguing to the
To the
unsure.
unsure. Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
um,
Yeah. Okay. Well, well,
we'll see what happens. All
F
right,
minus. No, I'm
Dylan
just
Sampson gets into a crowded RB room in Cleveland. Judkins was clearly the priority there.
yeah.
And then Jerome Ford's still there. And how many rookie RB3s make an impact in their first season? So for me, I've got Samson here at the front of D, or maybe I could hear an argument for back end of C. But that's kind of all I can count on. And I liked the player, and I
Yeah.
do think he fell a lot farther. And I think that was just a symptom of such a deep RB class that it was hard to find a spot for him. But I still think it's just a weird spot for him.
It is a weird spot. I've got him at the top of D. I
Okay.
like him next to Fannin though. They look like
They
siblings,
they do look like siblings.
What are we doing here? Maybe like don't smile so much, Cleveland pictures. You freaking everyone out. Like seriously. The rest of these guys aren't doing it like that. Oh
Yeah,
well, it's
that's
beautiful.
fair.
If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, get with it. Come on.
Yeah, check it out. This is a obviously shout out to Tier Maker. That's a cool website. It's fun to play around with. So this was a fun exercise for sure. And you can actually find this and create your own, which is
Ooh.
pretty fun if you go on there and you'll see
Link
there
it in
already
the
are. Yeah, I could link it in the episode if you want to click on it. That would be fun. All right, next up, Shadur Sanders, dude. Fucking who knows with Sanders.
what
Seems like
the
the
same.
Browns staff didn't even want him. He's consistently taking reps with the fourth team. And then like I don't want to sound like old man yells at cloud or Grandpa Glover over here.
Mm, I like the
Getting
Grandpa Glover one,
getting pulled over for going 101 and a 60. All right. I was a kid as well. I did that shit. It's stupid. Whatever. Not that big a deal. But to me, the last guy on the planet right now that needed to be doing that shit was Shadur Sanders. After falling to the fifth round of the draft, basically due to character shit, it just seemed weird. So I got him in D for this year, but maybe C.
I got him in like tail end to C,
Okay, that's fine. I'll leave him there. That doesn't
but
bother me. But
and I gotta, I see both sides of this argument. I was once pulled over going 97 and a 65,
yeah,
which is comparable, but I was trying to get my buddy Dave to soccer practice on time. So
that's
you don't want
important.
to be late to practice. So if he was like, it was like midnight, right?
Yeah,
That midnight practice, you don't want to be late to that.
yeah, that's fair.
Just
See,
tell
and
me at a lift station overflowing.
it wouldn't bother me as much other than it's this guy that just had so much hype around him and then like fell basically because it seems like he was shrugging off interviews and then he did the whole big massive draft party. Like it's just all of it together is why I'm annoyed about it. Like
It's
just
just gonna be that's gonna be the longest spring and summer of his life.
yeah, like
And
just
once we get to fall, dude, I'm sorry. I'm not out on him.
I'm not
I'm, j-
out on him. I'm not out on him by any means. It's just I don't it's like one of those things like if the Brown staff really didn't want him and then he did that, it's just like one more annoying thing that's going to keep him as the fourth string,
yeah.
you know? Um, all right, moving on to Tyler Suck. Um, he's going to start.
Tyler.
He's going to start, if not week one. And Kellen Moore used to be what everybody wanted in their new coach. Um, I feel like
You
he has
doing
to be
this?
here.
Okay. Okay. That's where I got him. That's where I
Yeah,
got him.
like
Okay.
I don't think you can rely on him to be a starter because I have no idea how he's going to play, but he will be starting.
So
So
fun.
you got to take a chance, and just see, especially in a super flex, if you can get him
Oh yeah.
late. But
Dude, this is yeah. I don't understand how teams end up this bad off. This is
yeah,
nuts.
I'm not, yeah, I don't know either. All right,
I get it, but it's real. Sorry.
one of the
Cam
draft
Scatterby.
darlings, Cam Skattebo. I'm still on record as saying I think he takes Tracy's role and Singletary's role sooner rather than later. He brings like a type of game that those two can't with like the power and creativity that he runs with. Obviously
Mhm.
not blowing the doors off people speed wise, but I do think he loses points for not knowing who Calvin Johnson, Brett Favre, Cam Chancellor, or Darren Sproles were. Uh, I mean, maybe I'm just too into Madden and care too much about football for a guy that doesn't play it, but he does lose points there. That said, he's definitely a high B, maybe low A.
You better put him above Ferguson, dude. Don't
Okay,
be messing with me.
okay. Are we putting, do you want him in A?
Yeah, no, I don't want him in A.
Okay, but promising.
I would love to put him in A, but I would love for the NFL to have drafted him before the fourth round.
Yeah, that's fair. It's hard to put him in A when he's going there. But I do think
I don't think,
maybe
yeah.
by the end of the year he could be up there.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say we don't have a lot of fourth round A's.
We don't.
So
That's fair. All right, next up we got Arian Smith, wide receiver for the Jets. Decent draft capital. They did bring in Tyler Johnson and Josh Reynolds, and then with the QB questions of Justin Fields, um, I think it's hard to project him farther than a backup, but maybe a high-end little backup here.
I had him as a C, but I could see where you're at. For me, it's a battle between him and Malachi Corley.
Okay.
Um, I feel like they do kind of shade each other in the their playing style. I'm not scared of Josh Reynolds, and don't know why I've just never been able to take Alan Lazard very seriously. Um, so that's why I find him to be intriguing,
Okay.
just because I think that there's a world where he could have no setbacks and become the number two wideout on this team, which doesn't really mean a lot until we see which Justin Fields we have, which like we still haven't seen the Justin Fields we wanted to see, right? He has never appeared.
Hmm.
Okay. So, all right. Yep. I like backup. That's fine with me. Top of the backups.
Top of the backups. Okay, we'll leave him there. Yeah, I just
Perfect.
think I don't know how much they're going to throw the ball. And like you said, Justin Fields has not had multiple receivers be that great in one season. So, all right,
He has
Mason
had good
Taylor.
tight ends though. Oh, sorry.
That's true. And Mason Taylor is
Oh.
up next. I have him firmly kind of behind Arroyo, but I feel like he has to be in the promising category. We've seen what Justin Fields can do with tight ends. And I mean, he loved Cole Kmet, and then that draft capital is hard to ignore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was a second rounder. I just was so uninspired by his LSU tape that I
Hmm.
left him in C, but I'll give you the very last player on B.
Okay.
Now you can put him in front of Harold if you want, I guess. No, you can't do that. Yeah. Okay, go for it. I
Nah,
feel
it's
like
fine. We'll leave
the
it like
the
that.
Jets and the Browns are gonna have a fight for the worst, passing game of the league. So
I
we'll see
got
what
you.
happens.
Yeah, they very well could. And that's not something you want. But, if they have the worst passing game, like maybe the tight end isn't the worst part to have of that passing game. Although I do think Garrett
Garrett
Wilson
Wilson,
could
baby.
get 1,000 targets this year, so that'll be
Hey
fun.
man, do it, do it. I'm in. All right, now I'm getting giddy.
All right.
Nah, we got to just keep moving.
All right, Isaac Tesla. What I don't this was a weird pick. I don't see him
A lot
taking
there.
over Tim Patrick in year one. So like I don't know, like D or somewhere in backup.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds fine. I would put him above. Oh, I don't know. Above. Mm, yes.
In front of
Behind
Hunter,
Giddens. Put him behind Giddens. That's
but in
probably
front of
exactly where you had
ETN.
him the whole time. Yeah,
Okay.
ETN.
All right, I'm fine with that.
The
I don't
visual is really slowing me down.
the Lions get the benefit of the doubt with how well they've drafted this year. It's like hard to argue with who they choose, but I don't know. It just felt like a weird one to me.
Yes.
All right. Dante Thornton.
Oh shit.
Um, I already kind of made the comment about a guy that's that big and that fast running around in shorts. I do
Hmm.
have him, like high C, low B type area though.
Okay. So I don't want to. For me, I have him as my number one C.
Okay, number one C.
But I mean, we're making the little moves. What do we got here? Could be, yeah, I'd still say he's my number. I find him to be my most intriguing player.
Okay, I'm with that. He's got a lot of juice to him, a lot of spice. Could be tons of fun to watch for sure. All right, getting into the final stretch here, we got Bashul Tootin, running back for Jacksonville. In terms of opportunity, it's great. His main issue has already showed up in camp, and he got called out by the coach for fumbling already. Doesn't
Nice.
doesn't mean a ton in June, but I just think this is like a huge running back by committee room. So I've got him kind of like maybe in front of Milrow in terms of this year.
For me, it was just gosh, the Jags as a whole, and then Etienne, Bigsby, the fact that they have three rookie running backs. I
Hmm.
put him in the backup, but
Okay.
you're probably right. He's probably not a backup. So I think I like that right in front of Milrow.
Okay. I
That's
can
beautiful.
I can handle that just because I'm unsure about how it's gonna go, but like if he ends up getting some time, it would not surprise me. All right, Cam Ward is up next. He's gonna be the week one starter. He's on a bad team, but a team that invested in weapons around him, and he looked great in camp. I think fairly easily, maybe here, maybe here
Ouch.
behind Trey Harris. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe
I was
behind
gonna
RJ
put him at
Harvey.
the top, dude.
At the top of A?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
I like
Maybe
the guy.
split the middle.
There you go. There you go. That makes no, put him behind Johnson.
Okay.
Let's mess up the trio. I like that.
Okay. All right. I can get
This
behind that. It's hard for me to want to put him in front of Judkins or Henderson, but like he's got potential. It would not shock me if he ended up being really, really good in his rookie year, but he's definitely going to start.
oh, for sure. Yeah, I think
Um,
it's gonna be a nice little player.
Now this is an interesting one. Tyler Warren uh, is a guy who we both loved, and if they can get this offense rolling, I think he's an elite weapon. The question is Richardson or Daniel Jones, whoever it is, I don't have a lot of faith in, but I have a ton of faith in Warren, so it's hard for me to make like, oh, is he a superstar or is he at
No.
the front of A?
Yeah, I had him at the top of A
Okay.
area. Yeah, I like that right there.
Man, we are believing in this class a whole heck ton of starters here.
Well, I mean, personally, I'd take Colson Loveland and RJ Harvey out of A, but it's not, we haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, well
Well, yeah, all right,
we'll
let's
go
finish
back.
strong, right? Shit,
All
my
right.
bad. That's
Jordan Watkins to the Niners. Decent draft capital, great offensive coach, great camp buzz. Just a lot of mouths to feed in San Fran, but I've got him maybe there.
whoa.
No, he's a backup?
I had him in the F category.
Really? Huh.
Yep. For me, I feel like Juwan Jennings has definitely showed up big time. Ayuk is good, and I mean, we all believe in Parasol. And then there's Demarcus Robinson, which I really was impressed with Robinson's year last year, and I think he showed that he's still a viable wide receiver, like three on a team. And then you got George Kittle, and I just think that there's a lot of mouths to feed here, like
Yeah.
some pretty stout players. So if you want, we can put him in the backup.
I'll put him here because I
Okay.
think I'd want him more than Tesla.
Yeah, same. Well,
So I
yeah,
don't really
same.
particularly want either
I
of
don't want
them,
any of
but
these backup guys except for is Bashul in there?
nah, he's up in C.
Okay. I don't want any of these backups except for Arian.
Okay.
But anyway,
All right, Kyle Williams. Obviously Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Demario Douglas, the only
oh
names that are
shit.
really out in front of him. I do love his slogan of "Don't drop the money." That's like what he says about being a wide receiver, in terms of not dropping the ball. I think by the end of the year, he could be the number two or even number one target for Drake May. I do think there's a lot of hype on the Patriots definitely being a lot better on offense this year. Which who knows? But I got Williams either at the front of promising or in the A category.
Wow.
What are we thinking?
That is a good spot for him there.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Right at the
Well done.
top of the promising B category. Okay. That makes sense to me. The hype train on Williams is crazy, to be
Yeah,
honest, but I
it
kind of
is
I
crazy.
do
You could
get
not
it.
put him as a starter though,
Yeah,
for
not
real.
not yet. All right, Savion Williams, super interesting one. The hype for him in Green Bay specifically is very real. The staff seems to love him, and I do think he will get used this year in a limited role all over the field. That doesn't mean he'll be fantasy viable, however. So I have him either like at the high end of D or the very, very back end of intriguing.
Okay. I'll give him intriguing.
Okay.
Just, yeah, because he could leapfrog, Wicks and Dobbs pretty easy.
Yeah, I know that the coaching staff has talked a lot about like if you look at his tape before these last couple years or this last year at TCU where he was used more of a gadget player, like they see a true wide receiver. I don't know that he'll get on the field immediately, but the third round capital is pretty crazy as well. So yeah, I'm pretty intrigued by Savion. Did we want to do honorable mentions? This has run a little long.
I think that, as we go through divisions, we'll catch honorable
Okay.
guys.
Cool. So we'll run through these categories real quick before we get out of here then, because that was our 51st guy. S tier I think is really solid. Genty, Hunter, Hampton, not much to move around there. The starters, do we want to move anybody, switch anybody around, move anybody down?
I think it went well. I think we did it.
Okay. All right. Then at that rate, are we gonna do anybody in the promising category need to move or?
Mm, not for I really was really following here. Felt good to me. Do you see anything that we overlooked or
No,
something got put out of place?
I think it's good. So let me run through the tiers and the names real quick. Bear with me. It's going to be a lot of information. So S tier, superstar tier, we got Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, Amarian Hampton. A tier, the starter tier, Tyler Warren, Tet McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Ibuka, Caleb Johnson, Cam Ward, Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, R.J. Harvey, and Colston Loveland. The B tier here, we've got Kyle Williams, Cam Scadaboo, Terrence Ferguson, Jackson Dart, Elijah Arroyo, Jack Besh, Jaden Blue, Pat Bryant, Alec Iomanner, Harold Fannin Jr., and Mason Taylor rounding it out. C tier, the intrigued slash unsure tier, we've got Dante Thornton, Jalen Royals, Luther Burden III, Tyler Suck, Jalen Knoll, Aronde Gaddison III, Bashul Tootin, Jalen Milrow, Torrey Horton, Chamari DK, Shadur Sanders, and Savion Williams. D tier, the backup tier, we got Arian Smith, Dylan Sampson, Woody Marks, Jarquez Hunter, Jordan James, DJ Giddens, Jordan Watkins, Isaac Tesla, Trevor Etienne, and Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm's going to be at the top of the F tier.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't care
you,
anymore.
man.
We're doing it. All right, so F tier, no faith in production tier. We got Gunnar Helm, Ty Felton, Keandre Lambert Smith, and Jalen Lane rounding it out. Obviously, we hope all these guys move up instead of down, but this is going to be our preseason ring around a rookie tier list starting out. I'm happy with it.
It looks great, man. Beautiful work. Impressive. I feel like you named them all based off of the pictures,
I
and
did. I was hyped. There were a few
that's
uhs in
incredibly
there.
impressive.
It took a second, but I got there.
Yeah, could not have done that. So hats off to you, man.
Thanks, man. All right. Well, we will be getting back to you next week. We've got a lot of off-season content to run through, as you mentioned, the divisional stuff. Eventually, we're going to get into the RB yearly episode that we do, the running back stuff. So I'm excited. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, y'all.
I took a lease out